Hi everyone, thanks for tuning back in. This is part 2 of Yasmin's request. I'm going to create call-out blocks for internal elevations. As always, I'll create the block on my drawing standards file. I'll go to the title block layout here and I'll create the block here since this is a block I'm going to be using on paper space. The first part of the video, I'm going to create an identical block to the one I created in my last video, which is the detailed reference. So I'll go through this part quickly, and if you need more detail on how I did it, please check out the video that I'm going to reference here. So now I've created the block with two fields, one referencing the view number and the other referencing the sheet number. What I'm going to do now is draw a square that will frame my circle, and I'll offset that by 0.5. I'll delete the internal square and I'll draw a diagonal line going from one corner to the other. Now I'll hit the H key, then the space bar on my keyboard so I can hatch this area using a solid hatch. Now I can remove this diagonal line and I'll select my square and my hatch and rotate them from the center of my circle by 45 degrees. Now in block authoring palettes, in parameters, I'll select rotation and I'll place the parameter at the center of the circle. Now this dotted circle appears, so I'll keep expanding until it snaps at the top corner of my square. Now I'm supposed to specify the default rotation angle, so I'll make that 0. And my gripping point appears here. So I'll just select my parameter as well as my gripping point, and I'll rotate those from the center of my circle by 90 degrees. Now I can remove this square because all I need is really the hatch. And I'll go to the Actions tab on my block authoring palettes. Now I'll add a rotate action. First I'll select the parameter, and when it says select objects, I'm only going to select the hatch. Now I can test my block. If I select it and grab it by the gripping point, I should have the option to rotate my pointer so it can point at whichever wall I want on my plan. I can close this now. And before I close block editor, I'll go back to parameters and add a base point at the center of my circle. Close block editor, save changes, and my block appears at the origin point here. So I'll remove it and reinsert it from the insert tab, and I'll just add its name right below it. So my block is ready and it's time to use it in my sheet set. Very important to remember to save your drawing standards. Now I'll move back to the sheet I want to work on, and in Sheet Set Manager, I'll right click my sheet set title and select Properties, and in Callout Blocks you'll see Detail Reference, which we added in my last video. So now I'm going to just remove that, delete, okay, and close Properties, and then right click any view to make sure that there are no options next to Place Callout Block. And I'll go back to Properties so I can insert both callout blocks. So I'll click here, then click this icon, add, and browse for my drawing standards, open. Choose blocks in the drawing file. First I'll select detail reference so we can put it back, and I'll add again drawing standards, open, choose blocks in the drawing file. This time I'll select elevation reference. Click OK and close sheet set properties. Now if I right click any view next to place callout block, there's the option to select blocks. So I'll click that and I'll check mark the two blocks that we just added to sheet set properties and click OK. Now if I right click any view, I'll see my two callout blocks appearing as options. So let's put this to action on this sheet. I'll zoom in on my plan and I'll right click bathroom elevation 1, place callout block, elevation reference, and I'll place my block right here. Click OK. So this is communicating that view number 2 in sheet 101 is showing the internal elevation of this wall, the one with the door. If we go to the sheet number, we'll see that it's drawing number 101. Let's look for view number 2. It is in fact showing the wall with the door. Let's try another one. Bathroom elevation 2, right click, place callout block, elevation reference. I'll place it right here. Click OK. So now I'm looking for view number 3 on sheet number 101. This is view number 3. It's looking at this wall. I'll select my block and grab it by the gripping point and rotate my pointer by 90 degrees. So now it's pointing at the correct wall. Let's do it again for bathroom elevation 3. place callout block, elevation reference. View number 4 on sheet 101 is this one, so it should point at the wall with the window. Select block, grab, rotate by 180 degrees. And finally, the only remaining one. Now it's a matter of making things look neat and legible. And don't worry about the fact that the text is grayed out and is overlapping with the shape. If I hit Ctrl P and go to preview, it will show you what this should look like when you export or print your drawing. So the grayed out part is not showing at all. So I'll just close this and that and wrap up this video. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think.